Hello. Welcome back to the Never Ever Mets recap 2. What the hell? Sorry. I'm looking for my notes. I actually made notes this time for the show. I have them. So I was gonna do episodes 2 and 3 together. We're gonna do episode 2, and I'm gonna be an episode behind. It is what it is. I am really tired, and I look like I'm sweating because I have been. I just finished working out, so I'm tired. Anyway, let's get into episode 2. A lot happened in episode 2. Hopefully, okay. Let's like I said, I'm gonna do couples. So I'm gonna start off with couples, and then I think I'm gonna start about like the group activity and go from there. And then we'll might split up again the couples. Okay, so let's start off with the main, of course, Dominique and Alexis. Um, I didn't realize. I guess like they didn't. The continuation of the fight happens, and while they were arguing, he made a comment about how she had like fake boobs and a fake butt, and I was like, wow. And then proceeds to like be in her face, like she called him a B, a B itch, like a B itches. Yeah, that's what she called him. I'm trying not to curse. That's what she called him. Um, and yeah, and then like proceeds to get in her face. Like it was after he pushed her that he got in her face. That's what got me. Because at first I was like, okay, we're doing that thing where you're all up on each other, like not on each other, but the way he was hugging her was kind of like, okay, well, get off me, because she was trying to get off me, and yeah, he pushed her, and then proceeds to get in her face. Like what the heck? Like why are you getting in my back up? And so yeah. Anyway, and then when everybody's like, "What's going on?" and he's over here like, "Oh, she's what is she? What? Oh, he said that he said sorry, my notes convoluted. I was like writing as I was watching, but I remember he was saying like, "Oh, he's doing this because she flirted, and so he said he gonna flirt. What's the problem?" And it's like, well, sir, she apologized. That's what the problem is. She already said she was sorry and her bad. And if you didn't want to take it, say that instead of being like, "Well, I'm a flirt." Just say I didn't feel like your apology was sincere. That's it. Whatever. Um. Oh, for some reason I said he was surprised. So they said, oh, well, why am I? Let me just recap. I'm saying my thoughts, trying to say my thoughts and recap at the same time. Whatever. They get in a fight. They get like separated, and basically I don't know if it was production. I think yeah, I think it was production came in and was like, yeah, he's gonna go to a hotel. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, Alexis is like, oh, she's surprised he went to the hotel. Why? Would you not want him to get out the house? Like, I just think it was a lot of alcohol involved. Like, I think they were drunk because they always get them drunk on these reality shows. So I think they were drunk. Do I think that is an excuse for him putting his hands on her? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because when you're drunk, to me, that just shows like your true self. Yeah. But I did like that in the morning that all the girls had her back. The way Diamond was like, I wish I was there. Y'all should have woke me up. When she was like, I don't do men putting their hands on women. I don't do no domestic. I was like, I know that's right. Um, I like that Aaron, the one who's a diamond, the older man was like, there's a line like where you have to defend yourself. That's where like the line needs to get drawn. Like that's it. Like there's no coming back from that. Like I like that everybody was like, yeah, it needs to be dead and over. I can't remember what were the guys saying. Like your manhood, whatever. I don't think any of the guys really agreed with how far he took that, but yeah. So then I feel bad because I don't remember the name of the host. Is it Taronda? Oh God, somebody correct me because I can't remember. Who? Yeah, she's like, oh, can I come talk to you, whatever, and they go outside, like, let's talk, and they talk. And I like that the host was like, there's no excuse for that, like, and she was like, oh, got this little like video message, y'all. That apology, that you want to talk about a bad apology? Like he was mad at her being like, oh my bad, and saying that it was insincere, but for her to be like, it wasn't that deep in the apology. I just think it's not that deep. I guarantee they made him do that apology before they were like, yeah, you're not coming back in that house because we have a no touch policy. I bet he was pissed. I bet he did not realize that they was kicking him off the show because you see he was begging. I wonder if it's in their, can't speak. I wonder if it's in their contract that they have to stay in the whole time to get a certain amount of money. And if they don't last, they don't get that money. Because the way some of these couples are fighting to stay here, we'll get into that. But I wonder if that's the case. Like, I wonder if they have, as I said, they have to stay to get money, and that's why he was like, I'll stay also to get exposure. I don't know. I don't like this glare. Like if I move in closer, glasses. It is what it is. So even though it, I'm happy that they made them leave. I just wish it was her decision. Like they didn't really give her a choice of being like, you know, would you like? I want them to leave. But I wish they had asked her like, "Oh, would you, take him back? Or are you gonna say?" I mean, I think when she was packing up, she was like, "Yeah, no man's ever put his hands on me," like, which is really sad. Like for her to have experienced that on TV, a man like mushing her. At first, I was very hesitant that the show. No, I don't want to say not realistic. Everything is semi-scripted because something happens and they ask you to retape stuff when it's reality TV, but not all the time. So yeah. Anyway, so now they're both gone. Let's get into the meat, I guess, of the episode. Okay, let's talk about Chris and Sandia. First of all, girl, why are you not gone? That's the questions I have to ask. But whatever. So they go into the side and they're like, now that this Chris and Chris, Dominique and Alexis thing is like over with, they're gone. Let's talk. I feel like they already talked before. It's just the way they edited it. I'm pretty sure they were still. I'm pretty sure Alexis was still in the house because this was like in the morning. Yeah, my notes. I don't know why Sandia is still here. And then, okay, so I don't know. I don't want to say gaslighting because I feel like definitions of that is skewed. Um, so for him to say, "Oh, like I didn't say any of that," something about like flirting. It was like he didn't say that he would flirt with anybody in the house. No, 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 no. No, that's not what you didn't say that, but you said you flirt with other women. Period. Like while you are together, you flirt with other women. Period. Like, and I understand that they're and she said it because at first I was thinking, why is he saying they're not exclusive? And she admitted that they're not exclusive to each other. They both agreed to that. Why are we here? Like, is it to become exclusive? I thought this was for couples that were already dating, like exclusively, but I could be wrong. So I guess maybe anybody you meet on the internet that you ain't never met before and it's been a couple months, apply to the show if they get a season 2 and they'll pop you on the show if you're together or not. Um Let me see. Oh yeah. Then he pointed out that she was emotional during that argument, which is like anybody would be emotional, upset, whatever. Anybody would be upset because I'm sitting here with you and you're sitting here like, oh, I flirt with all these women. We're not exclusive, and which granted they're not, but it's the way he was saying it. Like he made it seem like, we are never gonna be exclusive. Like this is just I'm here for a good time, not a long time. The way it was coming out his mouth, and then for him to tell her bye, I'm surprised she didn't bring that up because I'd have been like, when you dismiss me, you lucky I wasn't out the house. I mean, I would have been out the house. And I said it right now. I don't think this relationship is gonna work. Even if they somehow make it to the end of the last episode and like we're gonna leave together, and they're gonna date for a couple months and leave and break up. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, that's fine. Now, then I said, what did I say about these people? Because once we get past that, we start doing the. Is it? Oh no, it was Sienna and Brendan. And I laughed because Brendan was like, I got 2 kids. I'm like, dang, everybody on the show got kids. I think the only people who don't have kids are Diamond and Aaron, Aaron and other girl who's in it, Joanna. Aaron and Joanna. I guess everybody doesn't have kids. I guess just Shay and I don't remember the man's name. I'm so sorry. Shay and her man, and I guess Dominique and Alexis and Brendan. They were the only ones that had kids. Okay, so maybe not everybody. I over exaggerated. I was just in that moment. I was just like, I feel like everybody's saying they got kids in this moment. And then I was laughing because in the talk between Sienna and Brendan, either or Brendan, they were saying how, oh, we're gonna plan a trip, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll go to Florida, because he's talking about how, oh, Florida's like a good retirement place, and she's like, yeah, I'll go to Florida, we can set something up. So you're planning now, but you couldn't plan. Sure, sure, yeah, you couldn't plan before, but you can plan now. Okay. Anyway, then we get on to the group activity, and their thing that they're going to be doing is a Kama Sutra where they can choose is two poses from the Kama Sutra, and they have to choose one, and then be do the pose and be try to do the pose, whatever, and answer questions. Feel that intimacy connection. And my first initial thought was, is this a group activity? Like, why are we all sitting and watching you be intimate with your partner just staring? I don't know. I thought that was a weird group activity, but sure. It reminded me of the too hot to handle activities. But even the too hot to handle activities, they be like, Lord Jesus, can I learn how to talk, please? Even in the too hot to handle activities, they are usually doing it as a group. Like everybody's doing it at the same time. I think there's only maybe like one or two. I can't remember what activity they did. I think they had to like write about themselves or something and then go in the middle of the circle and say something, but everybody still like I don't know. To me that was like a semi separate activity, or you did that in your couple and then you got together as a group, but it wasn't like y'all were doing Kama Sutra positions in front of people just sitting there, 10 people going, uh-huh. Like anyway, whatever. First was Millie and Greg, I think. Oh, I lied. No, it was Chris and Sandia. I had nothing to say. After that, it was, I think, Shay and Herman. I'm really sad. What was this man's name? Then I got this written down somewhere. I don't got this written down nowhere. I could have sworn I had the couples. I may not. I thought I had notes for. Oh, I do. Josh. Okay, there we go. Josh, that's his name. Shay and Josh went, and I'm guessing they already slept together because they said something like, oh, we did all this last night or something. I was like, oh, which is funny because they just introduced the boom boom room. So I don't know if they got early access to that, or I can't imagine that they were sleeping in the room full of people. What I'm thinking is maybe because Dominique was gone and there was like guy rooms, and all the guy rooms have two beds instead of like the women's room having a whole bed of like six beds. All I think the guys' rooms only had two beds. So I'm guessing maybe they were in that room where Dominique was at the hotel, so they were able to do a little something something. I don't know why I'm thinking of these things. Whatever. So after that, I think Joanne and Aaron go, and I 100% agree with Diamond. I don't see the connection. I don't see it. All I'm seeing is friends. Joanne is treating this like his friends. I don't know what Aaron is saying and like his confessionals, like, oh yeah, the connection's there, intimacy, blah blah. What are you saying? Because I don't know. I feel like you're trying to save it. I don't think we had one confessional from Joanna this episode, which was weird to me. We might have had one, but I don't remember it like at all. Yeah. Anyway, oh, okay. So then we had Diamond. Can I stop in that? Then we had Diamond and Aaron go, and ooh, I was disgusted because Aaron was like, "We don't have no problem. Watch what people watching us. We can be walking down the street and she can be like, suck my toes, and I get that's so nasty. Oh, I'm just remembering it now. He said she could say get down. She could say suck my toes, and I get down on my knees and start put her toe in mouth. That's so nasty. Like, anyway. So then we get to Sienna and Brendan. They were the last couple to go, and to the host. I'm not gonna say her name in case I say it wrong. I apologize once again. She was saying, pick one, and Sienna immediately said, "Oh, we're gonna do this one." And Brendan got right down on the floor, and they were like, "Dang!" And I could already tell. I don't know if anybody else could. Sienna's mood is already off. Like she tried to blame it on Brandon, saying like he doesn't feel the intimacy, um, or he just wanted to watch TV or whatever. I felt like watching TV, and one of the guys, I can't remember what guys who said it, was just like, oh, what did he say? Oh, he said something like, oh, he thought, I don't know if he said it was rude or doesn't see the connection, something about how, how Brendan had said, oh, he's, ready to turn the TV on, and he thought that was weird. But I'm like, they're not doing anything. She's not saying, she's literally sitting on top of him, like that nothing was happening. And I agree with the host because she was like, oh, why'd you choose the pose where you're not facing each other? And she was like, it just seemed like the easiest one to get into. And the host said, intimacy is about work, or it's about work, putting work in. You didn't even want to do that. Something along those lines. And I agree. I was like, that Jesus. She took the easy way out, basically. So then we go into the living room, and like Millie and Greg are talking. I said, I don't know why, but Millie and Greg annoy me. And I really think it's because like they keep talking about how like good they are and blah blah blah. We're being so good, and it's like, I I don't care. Y'all could have met each other in LA. Like every time I see that's all I think about in the back of my head. Also, I was wrong. They weren't in the house yet. They were in the pool with Aaron, young Aaron, who's a Joanna. Aaron, oh, this is what Diamond. Aaron, Joanna, that Aaron. He's by himself. Well, not by himself, but he's in the pool, in the hot tub. Sorry. And Joanna was like, "I'm not getting in there. It's cold outside. I'm not getting in there." And so Millie and Greg were like, "Oh, why aren't you with Joanna?" And Aaron's gonna say like, "Oh, he doesn't like clingy women anyway." And so Joanna's like, "Perfect, because she's never clingy." Sorry, I thought it was something. And I was like, I understand clingy, but like they are never together in that house. Like everybody else is usually together, and it doesn't even have to be a clingy thing. And it shouldn't be something clingy because you guys just met technically. It's not like you've been together for months. It's been what, 2 days in the house? It's been a 48 hours, if that, a little less than that, I think, because they met in like the middle of the day. So it's been less than a full 48 hours. And you're talking about being clingy. Y'all aren't even connecting. I understand clingy, but that is not, it's not clingy. Let's see. I think I'm gonna get into Sienna and Brendan now. So Sienna and Brandon, oh, it's Brandon, not Brendan, my bad. Brandon, they are playing pool. And I misspoke at first because when they were talking, Sienna was like, she doesn't want to go to Florida. And Brandon was like, oh, well, now she's flip flopping because she said that, she'd be fine moving there. Now she don't want to move to Florida because she's from New York. Now, at first, I was going to stand up for Sienna because I was like, well, in their previous talk in the beginning of the episode, or the whatever, beginning, middle, and earlier, she said that, she'd be fine to visit. So I was saying that she never said she was going to live there. She said visit. But then they flashed to when they were video chatting with each other, and she did out her mouth saying that she would be interested in moving to Florida, or she wouldn't mind moving, I guess, for some reason. So she's like, oh, I wouldn't mind it. And he basically called her a flip flop. No, he called her inconsistent, not a flip flop. Yeah, I'm kidding. He called her inconsistent, and she got real defensive. And she was like, I've had guys tell me that before. And it's like, oh, she said that he's the third guy to tell her this. I'm sorry. One time, what did they say? One time, what, I can't remember the saying, but it's like one time is an accident, two times is coincidence, three times it's a, what did they say? It's a habit, or it's on whatever. It's a problem. Three times a problem. You obviously have a record of doing this. If two previous guys have told you that before, you got Brandon saying the same thing. You don't think it's the truth at this point? Like, and even if it's something that you don't like for a guy to say, internalize that. Like, see, is okay, maybe I really am, like, think about that. And she really felt some type of way about him saying that, and she was like, oh, I'm inconsistent, you're inconsistent because you got two baby moms. That, okay, like, why did you have to do that? Like, that is deflecting like heck. That's retaliation. That's like telling somebody something like, oh, sometimes I think you can be a little blunt. Whale breast thing. Like just stupid things like a kid's reaction. No offense. I should have prefaced this by saying at the beginning, I don't know these people. So please, I hope if they ever see this, they probably won't. I doubt. Please don't take offense. It is what it is. I'm just seeing what the camera showed me. This could be something completely different. In real life, you could be a completely different way, but it's just the editing. So I apologize if what I'm saying might offend the people who are on the show and might watch this. It is what it is. Um, yeah, she reflected like heck. Um, and then and then she called him a B itches, which I thought was crossing the line. Like that was a little extra because he wasn't saying anything outwardly rude to her. I understand that he may have hurt her feelings, and I would have like she said that he hurt her when he said that, but then like I think he was trying to really get real conversation out of her and just get her to acknowledge that she was being inconsistent in what she was saying, and she just went right into calling him a bitch. And it was like that was rude because I don't think you should ever call somebody out their name like that, especially if you're not in an like they to me weren't arguing like argumentatively. You were just talking and he was just pointing out something that was previously not what you had stated and actually giving like examples, and you just immediately went to being reflective. So if anything, I feel like she was more in the wrong than he was, because well, not more in the wrong, she was in the wrong. And I understand that maybe he should have took into consideration that she had said that made her feel bad, that he said she was inconsistent like the two other guys in the past, and maybe he should have said, I don't want to state that, but the way you're speaking, but I don't know. And then she proceeds to go out to the group. I don't know how much later it's been, but she goes to the group and goes, "Oh, this man calls me inconsistent, but he's inconsistent with his two baby moms." Like, and she brought it. It's not like he was like, "Oh, let's finish our conversation." She randomly in front of, was it Millie and Greg? I think we're sitting there. She just brought it up, which made no sense. I was like, why did you even bring this up? Y'all were having this conversation was between the two of you, and now you're involving other parties, which you did not need to do. Whatever. And then, and then she proceeded to piss me off more when she had to be like, "Oh, well, he was married and he got divorced. How inconsistent is that?" you I don't care how long, unless you've been with that person, like, you could talk over the phone and they may have had conversations about this, I guess, but she's acting as if they haven't had clear cut conversations about his previous marriage or his first marriage, because the fact that he's pointing out he was really young, it didn't work out, and for her just to be like, I think marriage is something you should throw in the towel with. You should go to therapy. How do you know they didn't do that? You don't know what they did. They had a kid. They were like 20. They were really young. And he tried to do the chivalrous thing and get married to somebody that he probably impregnated before, when they were young, weren't married. He tried to do the right thing and married her. And obviously that didn't work out. So why are you then like knocking him down for trying to do right by someone? Granted, I am a person who thinks that if you knock somebody up, I don't necessarily think you need to get married. But he did that because that's just how he was like raised in the town he was from. It was, the thing to marry somebody that you are having a kid with. And it didn't work out. And I'm so happy that Millie and Joanna like called her out a little bit. Like they were like, that doesn't make any sense for you to be like, he gave up or quit just because he got a divorce. You don't know what happened. Nobody's perfect. Thank you. And Millie, this is the the one time I was like, yes, Millie, yes. Because they annoy me whenever I see them. Anyway, I said that Sienna needs to have a real conversation with herself. I think she has. I think I'm trying to say this correctly. I don't want to say insecure, but maybe just a little bit, because it seems like she projects, and for her to be immediately offended for him to call her inconsistent, and she's never internally looked at herself and thought, okay, well, maybe I'm just a little bit. And I think that she could have answered that way better with him saying, you're a little inconsistent. She could have been like, I was thinking previously that I wanted to move to Florida, but I have changed my mind, which is kind of inconsistent. But if you have a good backing for saying, "Oh, I don't want to move to Florida anymore because of X, Y, and Z," say that. Don't just be like, "Ah, well, I never said that. I never want to move to Florida. I never moved to Florida." But you had previously stated that you would. So I don't know. But anyway, it was funny because Sienna and Greg were both talking to Sienna and Greg. Sorry, Sienna and Greg were talking in the living room, and then Brandon and Millie were talking in the bedroom. And honestly, the conversation that was making the most sense was Brendan and Millie, because Sienna was like, "Oh, we just need to have a conversation where he opens something about him opening up." Basically, she was putting this all on him, and it was like, no, 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 no. You are deflecting. Did I say reflecting? Screaming, deflecting everything off of you onto him. Like, you're basically making it seem like he's the bad guy in the situation. And did he have to, keep pushing? I guess no, but technically, you brought up that conversation in front of people, and then proceeded to. I think she got a little upset because she got called out by Millie and Joanna to be like, he didn't do nothing really wrong to have everybody has past relationships and his marriage fails. It is what it is. So then Jesus, Greg and Sienna stop talking, and Sienna heads upstairs where Brandon and Millie are talking, and she gets in bed like, because it was awkward, Heike. It was awkward. But she proceeded to upset me again when she goes to confessional. Like, oh, and now he's going and talk about me to another woman. Were you not just downstairs talking to Greg? Oh my, like, so it's like, and I understand some people don't, or women especially, and men, just people in general, don't like it when you take your relationship and start talking to other people about it. And I am of that effect as well. Like, I don't really like that. However, Miss Ma'am, one, you brought up your relationship in front of like 6 people, so that was out the window. And two, you don't have a spot to piss in or stand in, whatever. You don't have any ground to stand on for saying, sorry if I'm yelling it in the mic, but it's just annoying because it's like, you can't sit here and be like, oh, he's talking to a female about me. You were just talking to Greg. And not only that, like, he at least was trying to talk to Millie about the situation and see what could happen and move forward. And the fact that he went downstairs and talked with Greg, and he was like, right now, if Greg said if it was the end right now, could you see yourself leaving with her, like, together? And Brendan said no. And I'm not surprised, because I would have said no too. And then in the next episode, their families are coming. And then for Sienna to go, and he went to me with another female talking about me. We shall see how episode 3 goes. But that was it. All in all, this show not bad. Where did I put? Oh my gosh. Oh Jesus. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking for something. But all in all, wasn't a bad show. I enjoyed this episode. I think I enjoyed it a little more than the other one, maybe just because we dived more into the couples. We shall see how the next episode goes. We really didn't see all of the couples, only got little like snippets, which makes sense. More people have had more drama than the others. Like I said, I don't see any of these couples lasting. I don't know. But yeah, see you guys for episode 3. Dag!